Hey, everybody, welcome back to the No Quarter Podcast.
Idaho's #1 podcast.
Hey. Hey, it's election day,
It is election day.
2024.
It's a big day.
Yeah.
Big day.
Socialism versus constitutional republic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Patagonia, the clothing brand, posted a thing like, vote for our democracy. And so I started really thinking about that this morning, like democracy versus constitutional republic.
What were your conclusions?
My conclusion was that I just commented constitutional republic
Oh.
on their page and walked away from it and didn't give it any additional thought at all. Because at the end of the day, it's like, fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them all. So
80 million.
It's interesting,
Votes.
right? I mean, I think that's actually probably a good. Well, we could talk about the votes and stuff and polls and all that. I mean, I don't even know where the polls are at.
There are like
But-
80 million votes so far, early voting.
Yeah. But no, I think talking
Awesome.
about
Damn.
democracy versus a constitutional republic, that might be an interesting topic to like just kick the day off. Like, let's talk about what and why we have what our governmental system is and why.
well,
like-
don't mind me. I'm over here Googling. now.
This is what I find interesting, right? You know, the whole, it used to go back to like, how often do you think about Rome? I never think about the Roman Empire. That being said, like, if you remember, Rome is to be a republic again. Well, the idea behind going back to a republic, the idea behind a republic is to mitigate mob rule.
Yeah.
It's to mitigate the emotional state of the mob, which is it's human nature, right? You've got a bunch of, and I don't even want to say sheeple, because I think that most everybody is subject to that human condition where when you get emotionally charged, you lose the ability on some level to make rational thought. And so the idea behind a representative republic is that you elect people based off of your values, beliefs, and what economic values you hold to maintain a level head when everyone else is losing their mind,
I'm losing my mind right now.
right? That's the idea behind a representative republic.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to maintain our electoral college. It's so important to maintain that we do not go to the popular vote wins all. Like it is not a true representative government in mob rule.
So hopefully all of you voted no on ranked choice voting.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's in Idaho.
So yeah, it's in Idaho. For everyone else, I'm sorry.
Communism.
Do
I just
whatever
put
you
Idaho's #1 podcast in our Instagram.
want. Yo, shots fired.
I think I said Idaho's #1 podcast ... maybe.
It's awesome.
for sure.
But I think it's important. That's an important distinction.
Well,
Dude, and
let me
they-
read this, and then we'll see if we agree on the. So let's see if we can agree that these are the ground rules of what we're talking about.
Define our terms. I'm for
A
it.
democracy is a political system in which the people periodically, by majority, vote at the poll to select rules. The rulers then have absolute power by majority vote amongst themselves. In a constitutional republic, the people also by majority vote amongst themselves, select rulers who make laws. However, the rulers cannot make any laws that they please because the Constitution severely restricts their lawmaking power. The ideal of a
Checks and
democracy is universal equality. The ideal of a constitutional republic is individual liberty.
Yeah.
Love that.
Agree?
I totally agree.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah. Fuck democracy then.
For sure.
Fuck everyone.
There's a difference between a democracy and a democratic process, I think.
yeah.
Now,
I can agree with that.
There may be it may be definitionally the same, but I think a democratic process is different than a democracy as a form of government. Are you Google fooing?
Well, since we have a lounge setting here, gentlemen, I don't have a laptop to sit and type.
I'm recording on this, and I don't want to
yeah,
mess
no,
with the
don't fuck with
integrity
it.
of the
We already,
recording.
you know what? We've overcome quite a few hurdles here
How
in
would-
the past 17
That's
fucking
true,
episodes.
man. You think about the first handful, we had a lot of
technical
We had a lot of
difficulties.
technical difficulties,
and
but
people stuck with us.
they did.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
Right?
people stuck with us, dude. You got to talk about. Sorry, fuck the fucking election, real quick. you got to talk about this because I was telling Erica about it last night, and I was tripping super fucking hard. So you went hunting and you bumped into some gentlemen.
Oh yeah, this is
And
a great
yeah.
story.
Tell a story because that's really freaking crazy.
No, it was.
We don't have all that many followers.
No,
Yeah.
by
no.
any standard.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
it's
we
wild.
haven't
Like,
broken
so-
1,000.
yeah,
Yeah, we were up hunting. I mean,
North Idaho.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like northeast Idaho.
Okay.
And we're hear a couple gunshots go off, and I see two guys down, but two gentlemen down below us, like 400 or 500 yards. We were up on the top of the mountain. They were down like midway. And so I started glassing over there, and then I see them mulling around. I'm like, oh, they probably shot. We ordered multiple shots. So like they shot, missed, shot again. And you could distinctively sound they're two different rifles. So I'm like, man, maybe they killed something, and so we're still glassing, seeing more deer, and a couple hours go by, and you could tell that they're down there working on some game. So as we were descending off the mountain, I was like, hey, we should probably ask them, we're back there a ways, probably like 10 miles. I said, maybe we can help them pack out their deer. So we're just, we're shitting, talking shit. They're cleaning up their mess, and we're like, hey, we'll help them get it out. And the guy, he actually listens to the podcast because he asked me, hey, are you Rob? And I'm like, yeah. And the guy's name's Morgan. And I apologize if you're listening. The son's name, I can't remember, but the gentleman's name's Morgan. And he's like, yeah, I love your guys' podcast. Love watching all your rants and listening to it. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they're not from Idaho.
No, they're from California, Northern California.
Nice.
Like way Northern California.
Like Red Bluff, Redding.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that was really cool.
It was way cool, dude.
Just
it's just a good family. That he's a school teacher.
Oh,
I think he teaches shop.
Oh, hell yeah.
At one of the schools. His kids are just like, they're dialed. All of them are hunters. The whole family, it's what they live for, is hunting.
Dude, that's so awesome.
So it was cool. But it's like, you don't walk past somebody out in the woods that could use some help.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long walk with two big ass mules.
Damn, that's a long walk. 10 miles?
It's probably
It's not that long.
it's
of a
probably
walk.
like
I mean,
5
it's
or 6, but
it's this.
pretty treacherous. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah, you throw 80 pounds on your back of meat, and meat feels different than a well-packed.
Dude, and you're quartering it out, right? So if you do it right and you take the time, you could bone it out and get rid of probably 20-30% of the weight.
But it's still heavy. It's still a heavy load.
Heavy load.
Yeah, it's just
Because
weight.
it's dense and it's just dead weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you put 30
And
pounds.
they were good sized deer too, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, they're nice racks. Like, so
Yeah.
you're carrying those out. Like, I
Take 'em
think the
out-
kid was like maybe 13, and he
Yeah.
was a trooper, dude. He was,
That's awesome. My son's 7. I'm taking him. We're leaving tomorrow morning. I'm taking him. I've got a late season cow tag, and for elk.
what unit?
Out towards it's 70 through 74, just outside of Pocatello.
Okay. Oh, that's going to be a drive for you guys.
Yeah, like 4 hours or so.
Mm.
We're just gonna do a few days. I never pulled my elk tag this year, and so I was like frantically looking. I'm like, I'm leaving for work on the 10th, and I'm like, are there any weapon? Because like I'm not ready to go out on like I could go out in the Frank and do an archery hunt. I'm like I'm not prepared to do that right now.
Yeah.
I need a rifle. I need a rifle tag. I don't care if it's antlered, spike, cow, whatever. And there was one unit that had tags left. There were unlimited tags. It's over the counter for antlerless only that closes on the 15th. So that's what I pulled. There's a ton of road access out there. So we're gonna drive.
Get up high and sit.
We're gonna drive, glass, get up high, look, and then I'm gonna spend a couple days with my oldest son,
Nice.
And it's really, I mean, they did get some snow over there, but it's like just a dusting.
which is great though.
So yeah, it's
that
perfect. It's gonna make it.
that contrast in color helps
Yeah,
a lot.
it's gonna be
So,
awesome.
it'll be windy. It's gonna be cold, but I've got negative 20 bags for both of us. That'll keep us more than warm at night.
Oh, so you're gonna be camping like in the back of the truck, or
I don't.
like
Yeah, no, I'm gonna bring a tent. I don't
Okay.
have a trailer, so
yeah.
Yeah.
That'll
be
fun.
good. It'll be good. So I'm looking forward to that. But are we getting knocks on?
You got me the wrong thing. You got me how you want to swim, but it was the right kind.
There's only one kind.
No, there isn't.
Okay, eat my noodles.
Yeah, so that was cool. That was
You can edit that out.
Nah, I'm leaving
meeting
it.
somebody
Shit.
meeting somebody out in the woods like
Blur
that.
his face.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take it out.
Little shit.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
No, it was good. Just it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
I'm
that's
looking
cool.
forward to
And
it.
I think it's super dope. You're gonna go spend time with your 7-year-old without stressing about Panda Express fucking orders.
Yeah.
You got me the wrong
I was
thing.
gonna go solo you know, I originally that was kind of my plan. I'm like, I need to escape and like take a little time. It's like not work, not anything
Yeah.
else. It's just like I get to go
Hopefully
be.
your phone won't work up there either.
That's kind of the prayer. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, we're also going to be in the week post election. Like, I kind of want my phone to work. You know what I mean? Like Jordan, you know, our family, like we have pre-planned contingencies. You know, if I'm gone and things happen, like she's got all y'all's numbers, she's got other people's numbers, she's got locations that she can go to, like, you know. So I'm just like, hey, look, if things happen and you can't get a hold of me, like these are your courses of action. And
Yeah.
she knows all those things.
And you can always add me and Erica to that.
Oh, she's got your guys' numbers.
Yeah, because
Well, not Erica. I don't have Erica.
that's fine. I mean, if she called and said, "Hey, something's going on, dude, we're flying,
yeah,
flying."
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I think I don't know that we'll be so much isolated if things do
yeah.
hit the fan, but this is a big election, and I think
is.
that my wife and I, we voted early
Yep.
last week, and I'm glad that we did. There was a lot of people
Dude, I drove by the polling stations
this
this morning.
Oh boy,
Lines
yeah, my
out the
wife
door.
was at the church by our house doing the voting for. I think she was there for like almost an hour.
So out by our house at the Mormon church, there was cars. The whole parking lot was full. The whole highway that the church is on, full of cars, and the freaking line wrapped down and around the building. It was wild. I've never seen it that
I
busy.
mean, that's testament to at least for sure the Republicans showing up in Idaho because we outnumber. I mean,
I was there at the Elks Lodge early voting right when they opened, and it was busy. I got in about 20 minutes, in and out, 20 minutes. I did a paper ballot. I didn't do the machine.
Same.
And I was talking to a lady, one of the poll workers, and she says, this is the biggest turnout this whole week that I've ever seen working these. I've always worked them. And she said the enthusiasm was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes for both parties, right? Like you're
Yeah.
excited to vote for your you know,
There-
your side, but
I'm scrolling like all the election stuff right now just to like see if there's anything interesting that's populating. I'm not just trying to ignore for the camera. But dude, I think it's good. Like usually I didn't put anything out. I'll probably record something and post it right after this. Like I believe in the process. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong. Like I have my opinions about the candidates, and I think that one candidate represents more freedom. I think one candidate represents intentionally punishing evil, intentionally promoting good, and I think the other candidate has a puppet master that is intentionally trying to degrade the values that our country was based off of. My opinions. I think all of us share similar opinions. In fact, I know we all do. But if people who oppose our opinions for good or bad reasons don't go out and express their civic duty, enact their civic duty and vote, then we no longer have a conversation.
yeah.
And yes, our country is so insanely divided. So insanely divided. But if we ever want to get back to a point where, even if we remain a bipartisan system, if we ever want to get back to a point where we can have civil conversation, civil debate, respectful debate, and we talk about similar goals with different trajectories and ways to attain those goals, we have to encourage people to, even dissenting opinions, to remember that they have to participate in the process.
Well, now here's the question for me though. I think I hear that and I'm like, well, that sounds wonderful, right? That's ideal that
Mhm.
everyone's going to be like, oh, we get along and we're just going to listen to each other's opinions and everything's going to be fine and it's glorious and we love each other. But I feel like that's the question, I guess, is who is too firm on their stance to even have the conversation. And I feel like I've talked to, I mean, as a constitutionalist or conservative guy, I'm pretty open-minded. Like I can handle other people with like polarizing ideologies and it doesn't bother me. Like if someone's like, I love abortion, I'm just like, cool. Like, all right. We don't have to agree on that. That's okay. I just feel like the very peaceful, tolerant left is not like that.
But here's the deal. you can, if you want, everybody knows how I feel. Everybody on this podcast knows
Oh, yeah. No,
how
we
I
know.
feel.
Can you reiterate?
Yeah.
So I don't think we have time for that.
I'm trying to keep my blood pressure down on a lot of issues.
You're looking a little red.
Yeah.
I'll let you know
So-
if your eye veins start popping.
However, with that being said, you just have to ask yourself, am I better off today than I was 4 years ago?
For sure.
And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, having 3 companies in 3 different states, that none of my employees are better off. I am not better off. My neighbors are not better off.
Yeah.
When we moved here 4 years ago, when I opened up this shop here in Boise, fuel was like $1.98 a gallon. As of this morning, it was $3.67 or $3.63, one of those two. I forgot to take a picture of it. That is not better off for anybody
No.
because that affects all.
Everybody's losing. And that's what's interesting too, is like I see my poor friends from California. And I call them poor friends because they live in California. And generally, like, some of them are college educated, some of them are not, some of them are blue collar, some are not. They're all broke as fuck. And
It's because they live in California.
well, maybe, but it's also
Probably
like
be broke as fuck here now.
I'd rather be broke as fuck here, true. But it's like, then they go and they're like, oh, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. I'm like, you're so fucking broke. How can you afford to vote like that?
Yeah,
Bro,
I don't
that-
understand
That doesn't make sense to me because,
So just
like,
on the flip side, right? Just the financials alone, right? Nobody can answer that what I just said. Are you better off then or now? And if they do say that they are better off now financially, they're lying.
So I think
They're completely lying. Then you look at the policy, right? None of what this administration has done at all. Can you name one thing that they have done? And if you ask somebody this, they can't tell you.
well, they've done a great job with the border.
so I think so based off of what you're saying, this is what I mean about people being able to have conversations where ideas intersect. I don't think Nick will mind. I was having a conversation with Nick, the other half of SimShot, and he
The
was
better half.
and he was talking about how he was having a conversation with his parents. And they have sounds like pretty different political ideologies.
Then Nick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're on the Kool-Aid.
So, but he said they were having a conversation, and when he poses that exact same question, in the last 16 years, what have been the best economic years that we have experienced? And they were under Trump. And that's
It's fact.
that's a nonpartisan opinion.
Bro,
You know what I mean? That's just like
I grew up
hey,
in a conservative household. My mom absolutely turned my dad into hating Trump.
Yeah.
And now they are both begging for him to be back in
Right.
office
And-
because they're on a fixed income.
And I think that's why we're
70s and
going to
80s,
see.
and they are broke.
That's why he's been saying like too big to rig, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that exact reason is why maybe not a big chance, but there's a chance that we have a definitive victory by the end of today. I think it's going to get drawn out, and I think this is going to be the most litigious and the most contested legally election that we've ever experienced. But I think there is a chance that it is so big that it's able to be called tonight. I think the reason is exactly that. It's the wallet. People are voting with their wallets. People are voting not because of the border. People are not voting because of abortion rights. People are voting because they can't afford to buy groceries and buy gas
Yep.
and pay their mortgage. That's a problem.
The other thing is, I feel, and this is just how I feel, and Instagram, Facebook, obviously take it with a grain of salt, but that's where a lot of people get their information from, unfortunately. People really forget about the damage that they did during COVID.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They just forget about it. Like it's 4 years and it's just so far in the past that they don't understand.
No.
But think about that. 2020, 21, 22, right? We're only 2 years from there. Now we're 24, going to be going into 25. They ruined a lot of people's lives.
Oh.
People lost jobs, people lost loved ones. They had to choose between their job and a shot that they didn't believe in.
Yep.
And then come to find out that shit's all unconstitutional and people are getting paid millions of fucking dollars, getting reinstated into their jobs that they had lost. They've destroyed people's fucking lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There should be a consequence for that.
I agree.
And it should be, I'm not talking with violence, even though I have my own thoughts on certain things.
Euthanasia.
They should get their fucking revenge at the ballot box today. And let's put it into this.
So hear me out though. A purge, but
Still never a good idea, Jeremy.
purge, but it does sound kind of fun.
And listen, we've talked about this before on this, and I'm not saying that Trump needs to go after his political opponents, but there needs to be some accountability for the shit that they have done.
Yeah.
And he needs to get to the bottom of that. And if he takes all 4 of his years to do that, as he's getting us back on track, I'm 100% fine with that.
I'll only agree with that if he says you're fired to every single one of them and publicly.
I think like we've talked about what's his name? Bobby Kennedy. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you had your opinions about him. I was far more intrigued by him than
I
I think
still have my
your
doubts.
reservations.
Yeah.
I think you were kind of intrigued by him, but a little on the, you know.
I think that no fucking way should a person that's not in fighting shape be president
That guy is in fighting shape
for his age.
for anyone's age.
I think that every fucking president,
if he were in this room, he'd be the most fit person in this room.
Which one, Bobby?
Bobby.
Oh,
fucking, I'd still beat his ass so severely, dude.
I'm not sure that you would, buddy.
Muscles ain't gonna fucking help you from a fucking rape choke.
And
And that's a rear naked choke for everybody who doesn't know. It's a rear naked choke. All right, listen, it's all right. Everyone's gonna be fine.
I don't know. I have
I'm just saying I
my
beat that ass.
reservations. I think he's a very smart man.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of best-selling books that are really interesting that I'm got on my list to buy because I've been buying a lot of books lately and I just need to get the time to actually read them. So I've been downloading I buy the book so I have the hard copy and then
Yeah.
I download the fucking
I do the
audio,
same thing.
and
If
I'm,
I,
like,
if I
listening
listen to it, I have to have the hard book. I'm
Yeah.
like, my library will grow physically.
Yes.
I'll listen to it, but I'm going to have the physical book.
Do you ever just sit and read along with the words?
No.
Help me understand.
But I have my reservations, but I really think that if we win tonight, this could be the baddest cabinet that any president
Ever.
has put together. And I think if we get the right people in there and they're thinking, we got to run this country as a fucking business
It is.
because it is a business. It's the biggest world economy. We need to fucking treat it as such. We need to get the spending under control. We need to fucking cut off people that fucking hate us, giving them aid, and fucking focus and dial and drill down on American values and bringing the shit back so that we could be the best that we could be.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I'm tired of working harder for less money and looking around and going, fuck.
I would love to get back to the point where I were confident that if we go to war, that we will be able to not only win, but win over a sustained conflict.
Listen, we have the greatest military, and even as woke as it is now, we have the greatest technology. We have the best military.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I know that you don't. But I'm just saying, I feel very comfortable in that. I think, is there holes
I think
to it?
I'm more referring to our resources.
Oh, yeah, well,
I think our oil reserves are gone. I think because of our deficit, I think our arsenal as far as rounds, missiles, rockets is far below where it should be because
Yeah.
of Ukraine. And because of Ukraine, so much of that budget has been reallocated to foreign interests. Like, I am not convinced that if we got into a war with China right now, would we win in the short term? Probably, but I don't think we could sustain a long-term conflict right now.
yeah.
I don't. I don't.
What
want
about
that.
a U.S. invasion though?
I don't think it'll ever happen.
I don't.
If it
I,
did though, but I think that
I think
there's
that, I
enough.
think every blade of grass, man. I think I think that
yeah.
same thing, that same sentiment that stopped Japan from invading
That's what I'm saying.
in the 40s.
I-
So our military might not be able to, but we whoop that ass 100%
yeah,
of the
but
time.
but every blade of grass is not on foreign soil.
Listen, we just watched literally in live format, Instagram, Facebook, X, motherfuckers getting droned on both sides, Ukrainians and Russians droning each other with little civilian drones. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's changed the makeup of war is gonna be totally different. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And that could happen here. You know, that's why they're now trying to regulate fucking drones like crazy
Yeah.
and do all kinds of crazy shit with Congress. But things, I don't think that we could have a war here, but I think that the war, I think
I think they're going to be skirmishes. I think we're
Yeah.
going to see battle on
There could
U.S.
be-
soil eventually, but I don't think we will see an occupational
But
war.
I think it'll be more of a like all these people that have come over here. Like I think you're gonna have gang members like trying to. I don't know. I just one way that they could fuck us up election wise, they could go to one of the biggest polling places and just do a dirty fucking bomb, or somebody with
Yeah.
strapped on bomb go in there, boom, and fucking close a polling station in one of the busiest cities,
It's crazy.
kill a bunch of fucking people.
yeah.
I actually voted with a strap on.
Yeah, this strap.
Did you
on.
have your squirrel tail on too?
It was a
I don't
fox,
know.
fox,
I don't
foxtail
think-
butt plug. No big deal.
I don't think we're not going to be attacked like that. We'd probably have like another 9/11 on a bigger scale.
I think we'll see violence. I don't think an occupational force trying to come here will ever find success.
Because 100% of the time we whoop that ass.
I agree with you, but I think it's multifaceted. Yes, I think citizen soldiers is a big part of it. Our organized militia has what it was and what it is now. Yes, there are a ton of people with guns. I think there are far less people with training, but
Yeah.
we have National Guards and state guards that are their commander in chief is their governor, not the federal government. And I think that that is a big reason also
Yeah.
why our states are far safer from an occupying military force. And then I do think that behind every blade of grass is a major factor. There are so many guns in this country
Yep.
that they're not just fighting a uniformed military. They're
And when
not.
we talk about like civil unrest type things, like I was talking about this with Jason that you met yesterday. We got to have him on the podcast with all of his years of experience in law enforcement and what he's seen since he was like 21 to retiring 2 years ago. It's like fuck crazy.
yeah.
Like the shift of like, oh, you know, the culture of people hating the police. And he'll dive right into it. I mean, he's fully black. I mean, dude, you met him
Yeah.
yesterday.
He's an eccentric fella.
You would never know that he was a cop ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just wild. But anyhow, going back to the civil unrest type of things, I think that is more of a probable that I think that is definitely gonna come.
I think we're going to see George Floyd level riots, but exponentially larger.
But and then so you know how these guys, these Antifa members were all covered up there, this, that, and the other. In my opinion, and I've never been in combat, I've never been a police, I've never been in that situation. But I can tell you what, humans are humans.
yeah.
You take a crowd of people like that and you take a couple of their fucking heads off, like blow a couple of their fucking heads off. I don't think that crowd
Metaphorically.
is going, metaphorically, yes. I don't think that crowd is going to be as tough as they perceive to be. Right now, those mobs are protected by the police, the federal government,
I don't.
and there's no dispersing them. They're
I'm not,
like,
I'm not sure if I buy that.
I
think
people are fucking weak. Their minds are weak.
I think
I think the left,
I agree.
they're weaklings.
But my rebuttal to that would be, look what we saw happen with CHOP. Look what we saw happen.
But they were not allowed to dismantle them. They were protected. That was a protected class. If
Yeah.
you could actually have law enforcement go in there and start busting fucking people's heads,
I guess that's fair.
or
That's
let's just
fair.
say not even law enforcement, like the fucking neighborhood was tired of that shit.
Yeah.
And citizens
Right.
that were
Strapped up
fucking
and-
done with the bullshit. And
Strapped
I'm gonna
on.
tell you what, if someone tried to fucking occupy my block, it's not fucking happening.
Right.
My neighborhood wouldn't allow that
Yeah.
at all.
Right.
Like, dude, go to jail or not. Like, you're like, it's
just-
not
yeah,
happening.
I see what you're saying.
So you know what I'm saying? So if there was no fucking rule like protecting that class of people, the shit would be fucking done like that.
Yeah.
All right, but here's my next question, and this is completely probably not as serious as you guys are trying to be right now. But what I primarily meant was like, if we disarmed everyone, China and America, and we sat everyone in the field and it was a bare knuckle fist fight, who do you think would win?
America's
Right now.
the
Yeah, bare knuckle
Americas.
fist fight.
Are you talking
China versus
who are
America.
we talking about? Are we talking like
China versus America,
like
bear fight.
UFC fighters?
No, everyone.
Like just your average citizen?
everyone, bro.
I think China's winning, dude.
What? Out of outnumber? By
No,
outnumbering
I
us?
think China prioritizes fitness far more than the American public does
Dude, you got a lot
generally.
of fucking, got a lot of country boys.
I'm not saying
that,
that,
like,
I'm not saying
I
we
don't
don't,
know.
But I think that there's I
Americans
think that
win.
there are a lot of people that rely on
I'm not betting against America.
I think there are
We
a
win
lot of
everything.
people that rely on bravado and mental badassery rather than like when you look at like all these propaganda videos that they put out, right? And I know it's not as widespread as they would want us to think.
Are we sending our best?
But
Or-
We're sending
That-
everyone.
who are we
bro.
sending?
Everyone, even the fucking 8-year-olds.
like okay, if we're talking elite versus elite, I agree. I'm putting my money on America. Like I think our elite fighters, our elite war fighters, we're going to win. But I think if you put if you took an average American citizen versus an average Chinese citizen, they're going to be more fit, more capable. I think China would win.
even the disparity in size.
I think you're leaning into a prejudice of like the Chinaman's going to be the little man. I don't know that that's going to be the case, buddy.
Was that racist?
No, I don't. I mean, I think it's a valid point, but dude, I don't know. The human.
What, that I said
you have-
Chinaman?
Okay, first of
I'll
all,
bleep it out.
Or that I said that
No,
Chinese
no.
people
no,
statistically are smaller than
keep it in.
Americans.
Don't cut that out. This is the podcast. Like, literally, we're having a legitimate.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I wrestled for a lot of years.
Yeah.
I got into wrestling completely on accident.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you this story, right? And I ended up actually being very good at it, and I absolutely love it. And I'll like to this day, I think it's one of the best sports that any young man could get into, and I think they all need to be in it because
Yeah.
it's a team sport, but you're out there one on one,
Yeah.
Right.
and you learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, you have to persevere.
Exactly. And I got into that sport totally by accident. 7th grade, I was at lunch sitting on a freaking park bench with a couple of my buddies. And I had like this bright, I'll never forget this. I had this bright neon shirt that the inside was a different color. And this girl, Lorna, came up to me and freaking just like, oh, I think it would look good if you turned your shirt, like just rolled them up a little bit so then you'd have like two colors. I was like, oh, cool. Well, this guy liked her. And he took an issue with that. And we had the same class the next period right after lunch. And it was in science. And he wanted to fight me. And I was like, dude, I'm not going
to fight you.
it was like 130 pounds at the
Yeah.
time. Like, I'm like, okay, why are you like, he was mad. So he fucking starts a fight with me after the class. And
Over Lorna.
yeah, over Lorna. It's fucking crazy, dude. So, dude, this is 30 fucking years ago. So starts this fight with me. We start fucking rolling around on the fucking floor out inside, literally the science class and the woodshop class right next to each other. Both teachers come out. They fucking snatch us both up. They dismiss the whole class. They bring us in and they're like, you two will, because the wrestling coach
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the fucking, they were both wrestling coaches. They're like, both of you will report after school
To the mats.
to the mats
Hell yeah.
and you're going to try out for wrestling or you're going to the office and you guys are going to get suspended. I was like, fuck yeah. That's cool.
Nice.
Not going to call my parents. Like none of this. We're not going to get in trouble. Okay, cool. Dude. And that was it.
I'll tell
And
I
That's
just
kind of how
abs-
school should be.
I just
I agree.
absolutely loved it, dude. I'll never forget that. Mr. DeRosa, he was the teacher. And
Portuguese.
I don't know the science teacher's name, but he was just like legitimate.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to get you guys in
we
trouble.
don't have men like that
Yeah.
in schools anymore.
And I don't even know if he's
It's all
still
women.
around. That school's not even around, that junior
Yeah.
high.
But we don't have male teachers that are forces of masculinity in schools anymore.
Not at all.
We
Yep.
the vast majority of American boys aren't raised like that anymore.
But that's why I'm saying. So
So this is
going
my
back to-
point. This is why I think that the question goes to who's going to win.
I think we're going to win because a lot of people, okay, I don't know that we will win. I'm going to bet on America always. But like, because you love
I'm going to
MMA,
fight for America.
Going to fight for America.
You know.
But you have to have a will
Totally.
to
agree.
want to fight. You either got it
I call that
or you don't.
They call that the warrior spirit, right?
And
like
the famous line, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. What is that, Mike Tyson?
Yeah,
Who
something
said
like
this?
that.
Somebody said
Mike
that.
Tyson.
So that is a true statement, right? You either have it or you don't. And you won't know until that time comes if you have what it takes.
Hold on.
But-
Did we just validate everything I said on like episode 3 about, wasn't it episode 3 or 4 maybe, where I was like, yeah, no, I tell Mike at all times, someone fucks you, beat the shit out of him.
I mean, it's like anything though.
See,
dude.
now
Like,
it's important.
I agree
I feel
wholeheartedly. I agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment. Too many people think that when that time comes is that's going to be the first time that they've ever been punched in the face.
and I would hope not, but
but so many
unfortunately,
people are that way.
is where we're at.
Like My kid is 7 years old. He's going into wrestling this year
Yeah.
because I refuse to put him into middle school, high school, and into the world, having never been physically dominated,
Yep.
know what that feels like, know how to calm your mind down and persevere through what feels like an impossible no-win situation.
Yeah.
And he will be a man, both of my sons will be men who understand how to deal with adversity, how to calm their mind down, how to continue to fight until there's no more breath in your lungs. That's how you win. I just don't think, and man, Rob, I pray to God I am wrong. I just don't think that the average American family is raising young men like that right now.
Well, I can tell you this. You're probably, yes.
All right.
I know how
calling
you're
it.
raising up your kids.
This is
I know
it.
how
This
you're
is my
raising your
formal
kids.
invitation. China, America would like to fist fight you. Formal invitation. Pick a country, we'll show up, and we're bare knuckle
I
fighting.
Wait,
think there's a lot
Bobby
of people,
Kennedy?
though. There's,
Jeremy wants to fist fight you.
yeah. There are a lot of people,
He
though,
would
like,
say, nah.
I think a lot of people have more heart than we give people credit for.
You know
what
it's
I mean?
important.
It's,
When backed into a corner,
yeah.
you got to turn on your raccoon, dude.
Yep.
Your fucking possum. Your not possum. What's it? Feral honey,
Honey
badger. Don't give a shit.
I mean, you do. Like, dude, you're either going to be a fucking victim or you're not.
yeah.
And
We should preface this that getting punched in the face is not doctor recommended, and it does
it
hurt.
hurts.
Yeah, consult your physician.
And also, before you decide to go out and go punching people to find out how you handle punches, also remember your hands break when you punch people in the head.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's also very important. I have fucked my hands up punching.
yeah, and it
It
hurts.
does-
For,
I have a
it
finger
hurts
that
for
will
weeks.
never go straight again.
It hurts for weeks afterwards. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, both of
It's-
both of my pinkies are
I mean,
wonky.
I think we're not giving enough credit. You
I
either have
I
a
may
will
not be.
or you don't. But
San Francisco gets taken in 5 minutes.
most people won't.
Seattle too.
Most people won't know what that's like until they actually get it there. Unfortunately, sometimes there's people that go their whole life that have never even been in a fist fight.
And I don't even care about the fist fight. There's a lot of people who have gone through their whole life and they've never faced some level of adversity.
Adversity, yeah.
Too much comfort.
Where they have been so uncomfortable, so fatigued, so tired, so beat down that they don't think they can succeed. But then they enter that next mental headspace where they're forced to.
Yeah.
I was grateful. I didn't have a dad in my home. I was grateful for the military provided that for me. Like I voluntarily put myself into a position where I was forced to figure out how to do that next thing, how to get to that next level. And once you have experienced it, I'm not saying, dude, skills are perishable.
Yeah.
But once you experience that mindset, I agree with you. I think that so long as you have a reasonable level of consistent training, you are able to at least understand how you react. But there are way too many people who don't know how they react in fight or
Man,
flight.
I'm pretty sure I think I've mentioned this before, but dude, I'm pretty sure like there are firearm instructors in the valley that are like, we're fucking savages, badass, whoop whoop, and they've like never actually been punched.
ever.
I'm pretty fucking positive, dude. I could probably name a few.
Yeah.
It shows. And people who have fucking scrapped a bunch in their lives and done the hard shit, whether it be competition fighting, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, all that shit, or it's been growing up in East San Jose and just fighting just because you had to. The people that have been part of that, we fucking can tell.
Yeah.
Like we can tell.
I want to get back to since today's election day though. I want to get back to the cabinet because that's honestly it's probably the most
I'm
excited
so
for the
excited
cabinet.
about that.
So we were talking about Bobby. I agree. I think that there are things that if he were to have had the momentum that he wanted and became president, there
It's
are
never going to
certainly
happen
things,
when you're an independent. It's
I agree
never
with
going
you.
to happen.
But let's hypothetical. There are things that he as a president policy wise that I certainly would have disagreed with.
Yeah.
And we would have aired those out. But his idea behind cleaning our food,
Fucking yes.
100% on
way
board.
behind that.
Make America healthy again.
Dude, the Make America Healthy Again thing, the trying to pull all of these government programs out of the shadows and into the light, super for that.
Yeah.
Tulsi, I mean, she's another interesting character, right? Like Trump is pulling former Democrats
Yeah.
who have on their own kind of come to the center right. And Tulsi's another one.
But she's always had good policy.
But
It was just in the wrong vessel.
well, but I mean, people shit on her because of her policy on gun violence before.
Well-
And do you remember with Black Rifle Coffee? I mean, Evan, what's the CEO's name or former?
Matt Best.
No, Evan
Hafer.
Hafer. He got in hot water because he donated to one of Tulsi's campaigns while she was still a Democrat because she had donated to the Act Blue fund or campaign or whatever it is, whatever. And it had implications in some like 2A censorship, firearm, gun laws, red flags, whatever. Look, I think that people are capable of expanding their minds. I think
$100%.
she's an excellent example of that. Dude, I am stoked because I think her ideas for foreign policy are phenomenal. And I would have said if her policies would have been the same and she remained a Democrat, I think her foreign policy ideas are phenomenal. And I think it's awesome that is the type of relationships in cabinet that I'm talking about, where it's an intersection of ideologies, various degrees of left and right,
Yeah.
same trajectory, just slightly different lanes, same goal, different lane.
So, what are your hot buttons for this election? What is your number one primary? What do you want them to fix? Number one.
I think that the primary thing that we have to protect is our First Amendment rights.
Yep.
I think that is a massive issue. I think it is fundamental and foundationally representative of what our government and our country is and represents. Secondarily, the
So-
functional things.
Okay.
To me, foreign aid needs to stop. Our borders need to be secured. And I think we need to go out of our way to secure election integrity.
Yeah.
Those for me, those are like the hot button things. Look, I think we can have arguments about, honestly, the 2A stuff hasn't really been in the media a whole lot lately. It's always on the front of our minds because that's kind of where we live.
Sure.
Right. Abortion's another one, right? That's a big like hot button. A lot of people are calling it social. I call that more of a human rights issue. It's a big deal for me. It's not a big deal for others, whatever. But for me, I think this election is more about securing what our country is supposed to be fundamentally than it is about dealing with the minutia.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
So my hot buttons, one, economics is a huge part of me.
Sure.
I own retail stores, so that's what drives sales. I think the border is the biggest issue that we have in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So now we have all these unvetted, undocumented migrants here, illegals here in the US that need to be rounded up and deported. They need to be put in fucking camps until we figure out who the fuck they are. And we fix that. Border number one. Two, the economy. We need a top-down firing of every fucking head of all of these departments, and we need to fucking make the government smaller. We are sending so much money to social programs that is just a complete waste.
Yep.
There is billions of dollars that are unaccounted for when Biden was shelling out the money for COVID. They don't know where the money's at. Tons of wasteful, tons of fucking, it's just, it needs to stop. Once that stops and we stop the bleeding there, which I hope Elon will get to the bottom of this like ASAP. I mean, it's going to take them a while. Those are my two hot buttons. Personally, on the 2A aspect, that's like a dog whistle, right? We've had way more Republicans do more damage to the Second Amendment than we've ever had really any Democrats.
Yeah.
Nationally. Now, states, that's a different fucking story. And they just keep eroding them. I think those three things, if we could get those under control, I think people are going to be, they're going to be joyful. People are going to have a better attitude. They're going to have a better outlook on the future. And that goes for fucking both parties.
Yep. Because
Once you start, you're going to secure the border, which a lot of Democrats are not in favor of. They free love for everybody, whatever.
Until you drop them off at their front door.
Exactly.
God, those videos are so
Those are
funny.
So good, dude.
But once you start putting money back in people's pocketbooks, you're going to see a glimmer of hope in a lot of different people. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
especially the people that are on fixed incomes, like my parents.
Dude, I
that are
think
retired.
all those people who are running around town pretending they're cats, the second that they stop having to pay tips on overtime and whatever, and hopefully actually go get a
Or
job.
pay tax on that.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
It's just
It's going to. How many times have you seen a video with a young post-college individual who was hoping to enter the workforce in their given field and they're not able to because
Dude,
they can't afford that. One, they can't get hired in their selected field of choice, which look, we could talk about how college is a scam all we want, but that's
Yeah.
not really the point of the conversation. They can't enter the workforce, and the jobs they are able to get, even if they're making decent money, they can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford to pay rent on their own as mid-20s, early 30s. That's a problem. That's not young adult. I mean, it is, but that's not young adult. You are well into your adult years, independent years, where you're not relying on mommy and daddy anymore. You should be relying on yourself,
Yeah.
paying your own rent, paying your own bills. Hopefully you're a homeowner. Maybe you're not, whatever. But you're paving your own way. People are no longer able to do that in their 20s and 30s.
Well, they said the average age of people able to buy a house now is like 56 or
Yeah,
something
that's
like that.
that's a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a huge fucking problem.
That's a problem. That's a
But
market
here's
problem.
the deal. We have more than enough money to go around if we quit fucking sending it to other countries
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that don't give a fuck about America.
Totally agree.
It needs to be America first. I don't give a fuck if that sounds racist or that sound whatever. I don't give America first from here on out.
Yeah, we
And
can
everybody needs to fucking feel that same emotion and get back to the basics.
Yeah, brother.
What makes America great?
Amen, brother.
Preach.
Literally, like
Yeah.
seriously, like
It's true.
this is not a fucking Republican or Democrat. This is an American. You should want the best for your neighbor,
Well, I think that
regardless of the side of the aisle they are on.
yeah, those who want us to be world police, like we can't be effective world police, even if that's what we should or shouldn't be.
King eats
But
first.
we can't do that if we're not stable here.
Bro, I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
You
Israel,
can't help people if you can't
Israel,
help yourself.
Right.
all of them, no more. No
No.
more money spent. Figure it out on your guys' fucking goddamn
Well,
selves.
I think it's important for us to be involved in the world stage. We are the most influential.
Secure our borders first.
I agree with you.
That's it.
I agree.
Put all of our warships and just surround the fucking waterways.
I agree
That's
with
it.
you. But it is
Tomahawk missiles go a
undeniable that
long
we are
ways.
the most influential economy and country socially on the planet. We are. Plain and simple.
Well,
So for us to just like, I agree. We have to be America first. We have to figure our shit out before we can start worrying about other people's issues. But I don't think it is feasible for us to just turn off our involvement on the world stage. I just
Yeah.
don't.
well, I mean, that's not going to happen because that would never happen.
Maybe for like 4 years.
No,
I don't think
but
it's
we
going to.
need to do. We have to have some checks and balances.
Correct.
And we are financing this, all of us.
Fully. Well, we're also the laughing stock. I mean, Russia doesn't respect us. China doesn't respect us. I mean, the EU doesn't respect us because of not what our country is, but because of the leadership that's at the helm right now.
And then we're
going
going to try to put a fucking cackling hyena woman in charge and then ask Russia to respect us.
That's sexist.
I've only had a job
yeah.
in my adult life. I've only had a job that was either commission based or I owned my own company. Okay.
Yeah.
When I was in the car business, everything was commission. No matter if I was running a team or I wasn't, I got paid on the production that people did. You made more money, the fucking more cars you sold, the more warranties you sold, the more service plans you sold. Like literally, you didn't fucking eat unless you worked. The
Yeah.
harder you worked, the more money I made. And I made a lot of fucking money in the car business.
Yeah.
Ended up owning my own car lots. 2008, fucking went bankrupt.
Yeah.
I literally went fucking bankrupt.
People couldn't afford to
and
buy anything.
started
Yep.
my gun shop and been doing that. If I don't produce, I don't make any money.
Yep.
Okay. There are so many people that are working now for the fucking government, the states of California, the state of Idaho,
Yeah.
because they clock in, they clock out, and they get this cushy ass
Yep.
fucking, they don't know what it is really to put in hard work, honestly.
Right.
I talk to a lot of my buddies, literally, that are fucking, dude, it's just easier to have this job. I'm like,
Well, yeah, of course.
it's fucking, they're protected by the union. Like, it's crazy town. So no one, like, it's almost like the worth ethic is not even there anymore.
totally agree.
Yeah.
And
dead.
you should be rewarded for your fucking hard work. And I think that every adult that works hard enough, that makes it like enough to buy a house, should be able to afford a house.
Totally agree.
And when we have issues where people can't buy houses until they're in the late 40s, 50s, that's a fucking problem.
That is a real problem. And it's a problem beyond just the individual not being able to do that. That's a problem economically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about people who are not really contributing to society economically until they're in the last half of their life.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
It's a problem that you go until September, October, paying all your fucking taxes before you get any
Before
of
you
that
make any money.
That's a fucking
unless
problem.
or you owe.
We need to lower the taxes. I mean, dude, there's so
Well,
many
hopefully,
things. But,
hopefully federal income tax goes away. Man, that'd be awesome.
so here's my thing. His
I'd go get
cabinet,
a job.
I'm super excited about. Never been this excited about an election ever.
I can agree.
So I hope that it's just
Stoked.
I hope it's just a landslide. He gets these people installed. The other thing is, he's made a lot of bold comments. Like literally, it's Trump, so he's bigger than life, right? So he's making these big predictions. I get in a lot of arguments with people about, oh, he said he was going to build a wall, make Mexico pay for it. Well, he kind of did because he fucking tariffed the fuck out of them. We made a lot of money on that.
Yeah, there's different
Wait,
ways than
like,
them writing us a check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he built 500 fucking miles of wall, right? That hasn't been done in fucking decades. So
I drove by a bunch of it on my way back from Florida. Actually, it was kind of cool.
yeah,
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
was it big, beautiful?
It was just
It's a big, beautiful wall.
well, it was weird. Like driving,
Greatest wall of all time.
dude, driving through sections of New Mexico that literally you're driving along a highway and it's the interstate, the border wall,
Yeah.
and then you're looking into
Another country.
Well, and not only that, but you're looking into what's that movie?
Sicario.
Sicario. What's that
Yeah.
big town where you
I
see all
don't know, but
the?
it's fucked.
So we were driving just on the north side of that town. I can't remember what it's called. And dude, it is wild. You're looking at first world and third world, and it is literally divided by a fence.
it's crazy.
It's dude. It was wild. It was
But I'm
it was really good perspective.
So there's
for me.
just so many things like he's made a lot of bold predictions that this is what he's going to do, and I'm really excited about this. He says tonight, if he wins, he will have the Ukrainian and Russian war over before he takes office.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I
Now-
believe that.
Is that because they are fearful of what he could do when he gets into office? Like, what's the how do you guys feel about that? Like, do you think he can do that? Do you think that could happen? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think his unpredictability.
I think he has a lot of rapport with Putin.
Yeah. Well, and I also think people.
And so why is that a fucking problem?
That's not for
No,
me.
not for you, but why is that for the left? Oh, he's buddying up to all these dictators. I would rather be friends with our fucking mortal enemies and keep them close.
Yeah. I
And
don't know. What's your take?
Fuck Russia.
No, but about the war. Like
Oh.
seriously.
Well, about the war that's happening now, it's none of our fucking business. I've always said, like, when Ukraine and Russia kicked off, everyone's like, how could you be so unempathetic? I'm like, fuck all of them to the fullest extent. They can go fucking kill themselves in their own all they want. We need to take care of people here. There should not be a single fucking homeless veteran on the fucking streets. There should not be any homeless people that are struggling with substance abuse without any kind of help or something like that first. The fact that I'm one of like maybe the 10% of my friends that owns multiple houses at this age is insanity to me. Like, there are so many fucking economical issues here in America that, like, I legit just don't give a flying fuck about Russia or Ukraine or any of the people there at all. I can't. They also don't live in my household and they didn't come from my nuts. So I don't give a fuck about them at all. And people get, oh, well, there's humans. I don't give a fuck,
Dude,
bro.
America
I don't
first.
give a shit about the person that drives by me on the fucking road. My bandwidth is very fucking small, and I can't possibly care about other countries if we're not taking care of
how
things
many
here
other
first.
people do you think feel the exact same way that you're stating right now, how I just stated? Like,
Millions. They
you
just
think
won't
they're-
say it.
so we're going to find out tonight.
That's what we hope. And then also, like, and so, like, your hot takes, my hot takes are, I just want the government to fucking be so small legitimately that they cannot confiscate fucking squirrels.
Yeah. Fuck,
Like-
that's a whole other
Like
topic.
I want the government to have such little hand in my life as possible. And I don't believe, even hypothetically, like, let's switch it, like, I have tons of liberal democratic views, which I probably do compared to some conservatives, when it comes to, like, weed laws and other shit like that. But I just want less government. So even based on
too.
that statement alone, I couldn't possibly vote Democratic because I believe that is a form of more control and bigger overreach by the government. Yeah. Fuck
I
Russia.
think that's entirely fair.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't have any problem with diplomacy if it is in the interest of maintaining peace at home.
Sure. I can agree with that.
But peace, I mean, peace can be accomplished many ways,
I agree.
and it ain't gonna be through weakness. And we've already
No,
the
I
whole
agree.
world is America is on display right now
Well,
with the weakness that has been portrayed. And dude, we don't even have a fucking president right now.
We
really don't.
we really don't. The
Like,
mid-
think about it.
I think the Middle East is a great example under the Trump administration. The Middle East is a great example of what we can expect as far as
Bro,
how
he told the fucking leader of the Taliban, if you fucking touch one more of our fucking soldiers, and he handed him a
And
picture of his fucking
house.
house and said, I will fucking blow your house up.
yeah.
They
Like
didn't touch us for 18 months.
fear is powerful.
Dude.
And the thing is I think that Donald Trump is, and this is what they know, he's serious.
Oh, yeah.
All like, you want to go play?
Dude,
You want
to
to play the
Of all
game?
bombs on fucking
Yeah,
somebody's
only president
fucking
to
head.
do it. You want to play the game because we'll play. You're gonna lose, but we'll play.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to come to the table and basically say, look, I don't know what to tell you. This is how it's going to be. And the reason is because I've got the biggest stick. You don't have any response.
Yeah.
I've got the biggest stick. Now, you can do what you're going to do, but you're going to
There's
catch
going
the
to be consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. We don't hold anybody account for their actions.
Yeah.
And just the fact that like all these dude, like I posted on Instagram, my personal page, that like liberals and Democrats are just fucking bloodthirsty war animals. And it's like everyone, I remember before Donald Trump's first presidency, everyone was like, oh, he's going to get us into World War III. He's going to cause so much war. It was the most peaceful the fucking world has ever fucking been.
Yeah.
Within like, of course, like, you know, like other dump truck fucking
Bro.
places like Somalia and shit. I'm sure we're still burning down, but like,
I never woke up while he was the president going, fuck, dude. I'm afraid to open my phone in the morning for like, dude, who got attacked? Who did this? Who did
Yeah.
that? Dude, every fucking morning now it's some fucking new conflict
Yeah.
going on.
and then as soon as Trump's out, war, money,
It's crazy, dude.
chaos.
I don't know.
Putting our-
I think this administration, if he can pull this off tonight and they start getting to work, I think things could turn around fairly quickly.
I am the most, I'm making the statement assuming a Trump victory, which means a Trump cabinet installation. I am most excited for tariffs on Chinese products, for
Yep.
foreign products. I am most excited for inspiring American manufacturing. Now, I think the people who are saying, "Oh, it's going to make things more expensive in the short term."
Yeah.
It is going to
But you, as a capitalist society,
overnight.
you don't have to fucking buy it.
correct.
Nope.
Overnight, companies are going to stand up. American manufacturing is going to stand up. Now, it's going to take a while for product to start flowing and for the supply chain to come back, but it is going to be almost instantaneous. I'm excited that we are going to start leveraging our natural resources locally.
Yep.
I mean, there's a
Fuck
lot of
yeah.
different opinion about
Run that
fracking and
pipeline.
whatnot, but pipelines and oil,
Let's get it.
we have the biggest oil reserve.
And
I
the
mean-
cleanest oil.
And the clean, they say that the oil reserve in the Americas is as big as the UAE. It's untapped.
Yeah.
Tap it.
Stupid.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what that's going to do for our economy. I mean, the economy that we had during the Industrial Revolution, and as America grew when we were building bridges and building buildings and building these cities, which, I mean, comically, these symbols of American industry are now the meccas of like liberalism and
Yep.
leftism. But that being said, as we were doing that thing, going to the moon, another conspiracy we could talk about.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But as we're doing these things, you know, this is the economy that we had. And it's because of American manufacturing and American based resources.
Yeah.
And we have to get back to that.
I 100% agree with that. And I think I don't know. You asked me a couple months ago, I'd tell you that he's fucking going to lose. And my wife and I would go back and forth, and she's like, there's no way, there's no way. The amount of enthusiasm within the last 30 days, 15 days, and bro, you got to hand it to him. This dude's how old? 70, 80, how old is Trump?
He looks like shit. So I don't know. Old.
He don't look like shit, dude. That guy looks
He's
fucking
I think he's
spry,
80,
bro.
79.
Really?
This guy has been bouncing around the country
Oh, no.
more than anybody.
I'm not saying he's not energetic. I'm just saying he looks like shit.
No, dude.
He's an
70
ugly
he's
motherfucker,
78
dude.
years old.
78
Yeah, that's
years
old,
old.
dude.
That's
That's old.
Bro, one of the richest men in the world. And he wants to fucking do this job for us?
Yeah. I mean,
And
we
fix
said
the
it on
country?
the podcast before. I mean, I'd have tucked tail by now. The
Yeah, you'd
amount of
never see
attack
me
that he's
again.
come under. I mean,
Think about
he,
this.
He has the ability to live out his life playing golf on Mar-a-Lago forever.
Untouched,
Die-
unspoken to.
And die happy and with a family and grandkids running around, and he's choosing this.
Think about how important this is. Okay? The richest man in the world with probably more to lose than Trump because of all of his government contracts, all of this shit that he's doing all around the globe. Elon Musk decides to jump in the basket with us garbage men.
Yeah.
Well, did you see his comments on Rogan?
I'm trash.
No, his comments were if his belief is that if Trump loses this election, that this is the last election that the U.S. will have that it will ever be legitimate. And his statement is because this administration will not only continue to increase the amount of illegals that come through the border, they are going to funnel them to swing states, and then they are going to
Dilute the vote.
they are going to dilute the vote by legalizing their votes
Yep.
and then ratifying it constitutionally so that we can't contest it ever
Yep.
again. And it will be the last time that we ever have a fair election. It will go to the exactly what happens in Russia.
I mean,
Like Putin is elected, but he knows he's elected. And that's going to be the exact same scenario that we have. It will literally be an Orwellian and a banana republic where people it's just for show.
it just makes you wonder why Elon even put it. I mean, dude, he's got a lot to lose. So you're thinking like
Yeah.
the bigger picture.
Well,
Like, why?
because you know that he would be welcome to the WEF and into the circle of the elites with open arms.
And just to hear him openly say he's one of the biggest fucking EV cars on the market, one of the best, the biggest, the brightest, right? Star in
Huge.
the punch bowl.
Huge.
And this guy says that the infrastructure's not there enough to go full EV.
right?
Like, bro, he could be like, no, you have to go EV. Yeah, well, everything's, you know what I mean? And he's like telling everybody, no, we can't.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Right.
He's a pretty logical guy, I feel like, for the most part. He
Yeah.
might be out there, but like he seems like he's fairly rational and fair.
Well, and I think he is a true capitalist, which means
Yes.
his belief is not that we shouldn't spend money, but his belief is that we should maximize the value of our dollar. Meaning, if I'm
Course.
going to spend $1, I am going to get the most return for it possible, which is why he wants to completely slash all these government programs. I mean, how many? We were talking about this the other day. I think you knew the number. I maybe not. How many government agencies do we actually have?
Oh, dude, it's a ton. I was actually digging into the Department of Homeland Security and how many fucking branches they have.
Yeah, so
dude,
many
we need
layers.
to crush that fucking department and start that whole thing all over
Sure.
again.
And totally abolish the ATF
Dude,
Yeah,
that's a whole other.
and the IRS.
and the IRS. Fuck those guys. As I
Let's
get
see.
audited now.
how many are there?
I'm trying to.
He's gonna get his fucking merit badge
My
in Google Foo.
My Google foo is weak. Federal.
Dude, just look up DHS. I mean, dude,
No-
goddamn, it's
no.
like there's so many.
Come on, you're the Google guy, Jeremy. There's no
I
easy
got
answer.
you.
I'm reading headlines. I'm not getting into stuff. The point is there are an inordinate amount of government agencies, and a lot of them have redundant function, which
Yeah,
is
it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's waste.
And what are they truly effectively doing? You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that as well. I think that's
Alrighty.
huge.
So
10 seconds on. He's got
there
it.
are more than 2,000 agencies. But what's alarming is when you look at the AI overview, the number of agencies in the United States federal government is difficult to determine because there are different ways to count them and the exact number is not known. Here are some different estimates. United States government manual lists 96 independent executive units and 220 components of the executive departments. USA.gov lists 137 independent executive agencies and 268 units in the cabinet. Federal Register lists over 430 department agencies and sub-agencies.
Well, Donald Trump told you himself on Joe Rogan that he has to appoint 10,000 people.
That's psychotic.
10,000. I mean, he's not doing that all. He's going to have obviously his people do it, but there's
Yeah.
10,000. He said there's at least 10,000 appointees.
Yeah, there should be like 15,
It's like, bro, that's a lot of fucking
maybe
government.
20.
That's a lot of government. I mean, effectively, he appoints the cabinet, and then the cabinet appoints down.
Correct, but
That's beyond
The
when I-
fact that fucking AI can't even quantify how many government agencies there are
yeah.
is a little alarming.
I don't know. So, are you still leaning Trump loss? Is that your prediction?
Yeah, I don't want it to be. So I guess what we'll wrap with our predictions. I think there's no fucking possible way Trump wins.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong.
so do you want to hear?
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a couple guys I follow and talk to, and a couple of predictions, right? The 25th Amendment, Biden, before the term is ended. Trump wins tonight, the election. The 25th Amendment, Biden. They install Harris. She does some fucking crazy shit by the end of it. And then they don't certify the votes, and there's like major chaos.
Okay, so
If-
the 14th Amendment, Section 3.
No. Oh, no. What he's talking about is
The
disqualifying Biden under capacity.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what
Okay.
we were talking about is the what you're referring to is the insurrection.
Okay. Tracking.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's plausible.
What are your predictions?
Dude, I think he either is going to win tonight by a landslide and it'll be fucking done by midnight, or this thing gets prolonged. There's going to be lawsuits and all this crazy shit happens, and we won't know for months.
I agree.
That's your prediction as well?
My gut tells me it's going to be the latter, that it is not going to be clear. The 25th Amendment theory is an interesting one. I think it's totally plausible that they just go ahead and make Kamala 47. Now, whether or not they are capable of then using the 14th Amendment, Section 3, 14th, right?
Yeah, 14.
Section 3 to disqualify him under the insurrectionist clause. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it. What I think is if they choose to not ratify a Trump or confirm a Trump victory, that's when I think we are going to start seeing different groups of people take to the streets.
Yeah.
I think that's when we are going to start seeing violent conflict. God help us.
And
if that-
I mean,
God
somebody
help us if
put in the
that's
comments,
case.
maybe we're wrong, but maybe they can't do the 25th Amendment. They can't just install her. But, dude, she got 0 votes when
Well,
they installed her just
They're,
now.
I
Do you
don't think
Dutch
they're.
Bros will still be open?
I don't think they're going to be able to do the 25th Amendment. They don't have enough of a majority in the House.
Right.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but
So I don't think the RNC would ever get behind that happening.
yeah, I don't think there's enough time for it to work its way through.
Well, is there another session before this term?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
All I know is, in my heart, I feel like he wins, but I feel like if it's not a legitimate like, hey, this is done today,
Well, that's why you're saying too big to win, right? That's what he wants. But
it's gonna be interesting.
yeah,
Well,
Because I don't know if the American people could feel like we had another election stolen from us. Because I truly feel that there was some
some tomfoolery.
fucking tomfoolery going on
100%.
in 2020.
I agree.
my prediction is Trump victory. Whether or not we know tonight or beyond
Well, let's
is
hope
to be
so.
determined. But my prediction is Trump victory. You're saying Trump loss.
Trump loss.
You're saying Trump victory.
Gotta call it.
I call it Trump victory, but I just don't see a path to
A peaceful transition.
a peaceful transition. There's too much fuckery, dude. These guys are fucking. They cannot be trusted.
Yeah.
And I don't believe the polls, dude. I mean, look at the polls for him back in 2016.
Pollsters
Like-
have been all over the place. That's why I've been sending you guys that election
Yeah.
election day podcast or
Yeah.
whatever it is, the YouTube channel. And he's been going on averages, and he actually has a pretty good track record of prediction.
Yeah, he
So, he claims he's predicting a Trump victory. I'm
hopeful.
I think the margin for him is Nevada. Like he'll win Nevada, doesn't need Nevada, but it's going to be a lot closer than the landslide that Trump wants. That's his prediction.
Which is fucking pretty scary because of this administration as it is.
Yeah.
Like she is just
Polls right now are useless. Like trying to Google like who's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
useless.
Yeah, I did it a few times.
There's nothing tangible to sort through. Everybody is just
I can tell you this, over 80 million people early voted, which is a sign of a lot of enthusiasm.
How many votes did they have in the last election total? Do you know?
I don't know.
Can you Google that? How many votes were cast in the 2020 presidential election and then also maybe the 2016?
But that's a lot. I mean, Republicans usually don't vote early at all. They're day
Dude,
of.
they were saying something like only 50% of evangelical Christians are voting.
Dumb fuckers. They have to.
Isn't
vote.
that crazy?
If you don't vote,
if
you
you're-
have no say
I-
in shit.
I totally agree, but
like
I'm,
you can't
I'm,
even fucking
I'm
complain
surprised
about
that
nothing.
statistic is as high as it is for the evangelical sector simply because of the abortion conflict that's going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised.
Dude, listen, we all have our thoughts about abortion. That is not the biggest fucking problem right now in this fucking country.
I think it's a major issue. I think we have in order to keep having that conversation, there are other things we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I'm not
We
I'm
are
not
gonna be fucking
devaluing
eating bugs if we don't get
I'm
this
not-
economy under control.
Yeah, I'm not devaluing the
And then you're not
importance
going
of
to have
that
to worry about having a
conversation.
fucking abortion because a lot of people are going to
Yeah.
just get aborted on fucking their own.
Well, I think that if we see a blue victory, I think we're going to start seeing that whole great reset. I mean, they're going to start trying to reduce the world population via vaccine. I mean, I know that's some tinfoil hat stuff. I truly think that's going to happen.
No, fucking Bill Gates even said once, like, the more people we get vaccinated, the less the population or something like that once.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of it. I can't find shit. It's too convoluted right now with how many fucking
How many
headlines
total
are
votes
hitting.
were cast in the previous
Yeah,
elections?
I mean, they're breaking it down in like, oh, age groups 18 to 20.
that's not what I want. I just want total votes.
I'm
Nada.
I'm trying.
Hey, be better.
Let me try my Google foo.
Yeah, it's broken out by like states and shit, and I can't do math, so the school
Let's
system
see.
failed me. Let's see.
Just ask Siri.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a good idea.
Oh, it's connected to my.
Oh, here, I got
computer. You do it.
How many total votes were cast in 2020? More than 158 million votes were cast in the election.
But 80 million are already
Already?
cast. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's wild, dude. It's a lot of
Godspeed.
people. That's a lot of enthusiasm getting out early.
Yeah. Today's a big day. I'm excited. I'm excited for our next episode post election.
Yeah.
I'm back from my hunt Friday. Maybe we can record this weekend and talk
down.
about what's going on.
I'm
Maybe,
down.
like even if we do it one night,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Dude, we could do it out of the gun vault.
We can do that.
Vault talks.
Yeah, we can do that. All right, y'all.
Godspeed.
Yeah, that is episode 17.
Get out and vote. We're you're going to be listening to this today, so we're going to get this out, get it wrapped up. It
Yep.
might not be edited as cool as
I'm
it could be,
I'm
but
literally gonna go pick up my kids from school, go home and edit this and put it up immediately.
I'm going to go
awesome.
get in an argument
So-
about Panda Express with a fucking 8-year-old.
go vote.
Hey, all the things. No quarter pod. You know it. More than that, go vote.
Yeah.
Please go vote.
Idaho's #1 podcast.
We're out.